Hey everyone, basketball is back, so we're here on indoor recess for a Raptors season preview. I'm Braydon Holmyard. I'm joined by Raptors and NBA reporter Doug Smith. Doug, are you ready to go for season number 26?
Yeah, as ready as you'll ever be, I suppose, this time of year. It's an odd start to the season, but we got to get her done.
I'm thankful to have something to watch again, thankful to get ready to get into your reporting. So, off the bat, it was a short off season, but a busy one for the Raptors and for you. When you look at the lineup that they'll send out on opening night, did the Raptors accomplish everything that they needed to?
I don't think so. No, I think they needed to bring one of Marcus Gasol or Serge Ibaka back. As it turned out, they didn't. I think they're probably a little bit weaker up front now, using Aaron Baines and probably Chris Boucher. But the core of the team is the core of the team. It's Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Norm Powell. It exists. Nick Nurse. So they'll be okay, but I don't think they're as deep or as talented as they were a year ago today.
With those guys, with Ibaka and Gasol on the way out, who's going to need to step up and kind of fill some of that? Some of the, I guess, late in the year we saw a lot of scoring from especially Ibaka. Who's going to be able to fill that void?
I think Anunoby's going to have to take a jump up offensively. I think he's going to have to score more points. I think collectively Lowry and VanVleet are going to have to up their offensive production a little bit, maybe a little bit each. I don't think it's on one of those two. But a guy like Anunoby has to be a little bit better offensively to replace that scoring that they lose with Ibaka and Gasol being gone.
Speaking of Anunoby, a year ago it was Siakam, a few weeks ago it was VanVleet, and now OG Anunoby locked in as kind of a core three on this team going forward. What does OG's contract extension say about how the Raptors feel about his role with this team?
They really like him. Nick Nurse just told us a minute ago they think he can be one of the NBA's best defenders. And his offensive game certainly has room to grow. He told us 10 minutes ago that he thinks he hasn't shown all he can do offensively, and that's the next step he's got to take. It does get him in that core group with VanVleet and Siakam. They are the only three players who might be under contract next year, depending on what happens with Powell and Lowry. But they've made a significant commitment to a 23-year-old kid, and now it's up to him to live up to it.
And speaking of contracts, the next order of business for the team seems to be Masai Ujiri. We know how important he is to this franchise. Do you think his potential contract extension is something that we could see during the season?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Masai he's very much a get things done in the order they got to get done kind of guy. I mean, he took care of the players. He's going to take care of Bobby Webster as general manager imminently, I presume. And then they'll move on to talking about his future. I don't know what that future is. I think he will seek out other challenges in the world at some point. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a 2-year deal sometime during the season. I don't think there's any rush because there is an order of things that have to get done, and they're still not quite through it yet.
The Raptors and their fans have gotten very used to winning. Doug, how do you think this season will play out?
I think it's going to be the same as last year. I think a lot of teams will sleep on the Raptors and they'll win a lot of games, and they'll be right there in the thick of the playoffs. I think there's the East has 6 very, very good teams in Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Boston, Miami, and Toronto, and the Raptors are one of them. I fully expect they'll be in the top 4 when it's all said and done, and then, as you know, Braden, when they get in the playoffs, it's who's playing well, matchups, who's hurt, who's not hurt, who gets lucky, who doesn't get lucky. And they have the experience to get into that position to give themselves a chance to do something special.
Well, we know Siakam put all the work he needed to in the offseason. We've seen that. What does he need to do to make sure that translates to get back to his all-star form from a year ago?
I think he'll have a regular good All-Stars regular season. I think the jury will be out on Pascal Siakam until the postseason starts, and we see how he does under the glare of the playoffs and the attention of the playoffs. I fully expect he'll post the same kind of numbers. The team will win the same number of games. He will have many, many good nights. He'll be their go-to guy. But until he does it in the playoffs next April or May or June or July, whenever they start, I can't figure it out anymore. That's when you'll have you'll know what Pascal Siakam is.
There's ever since he joined the team, there's been a lot of Matt Thomas talk, and this year we've heard a lot from Nick Nurse about him. How does his presence help the Raptors on the floor?
Oh, I like him a lot. I think he's expanded his game so he's not just a shooter. He creates off the dribble, creates for others. He's a passable defender. I think he's got a big role on this team. He and Norm Powell as the two key guys off the bench. Nick has told us all training camp that he wants to get a clearly defined, consistent role for Matt Thomas and see if Thomas can play himself into even a greater role. But he's certainly got a job to lose as a key member of that second unit.
Do you see Malachi Flynn carving out a role with this team once we get going?
No, I really don't. I think rookie point guards take a long time to learn, and I think it's easier to learn on a team with no expectations. The Raptors have great expectations. They also have two really, really good guards in Lowry and Van Vliet. I think he'll play in some games, but I don't think he's being counted on to do anything other than learn at the feet of masters. And I think he's got that in him. He's certainly I think a very promising young player. But on a team that wants to be playing for the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm not sure you can play a rookie.
The East looks a lot tougher in my eyes this year with the new look Nets, obviously. Do they become, in your eyes, the team to beat, or does that title belong to the Bucks until proven otherwise?
No, I think probably Brooklyn is the number one team in the East right now on paper. There's some defensive deficiencies there, but they're really, really good.
Is this the most competitive the East has been, at least on paper, that we've seen during maybe the last 6 or 7 years of very successful Raptors seasons?
There's 6 really good we can win the East when the season starts. And it's been a long time since we've had that in the East. It's no longer the NBA East. You can make a case, and I'm going to make it tomorrow morning. The East is better than the West.
All right, Doug. Well, thank you for catching up with me, giving Raptors fans a breakdown of what to expect this season. You can follow Doug on Twitter at SmithRaps and visit thestar.com/Raptors to check out his work almost every day. Happy holidays to you, Doug, and to everyone watching. We'll see you next time.